Everybody ought to know it's us against the world, baby. Oh, it's us against the world.
What's going on, everybody? Thank you so much for tuning in to AP and Toya podcast. It's been a little minute. We appreciate you guys.
Yes.
Missed your family. What's going on?
Hey, family.
Hey, what's going on, y'all?
Welcome back. Thank you for taking time out of your day, your night, to listen to us, to watch us, to listen to us. We appreciate it.
Yeah, man. It's been a little minute since the last podcast.
Yes.
We got to get better with these podcasts. We're going to make sure we get to you because some of you guys have been complaining to us, rightfully so, and we apologize. So we're going to make sure, that we get these things.
Us, calling us.
Yeah, so we appreciate you guys, and we're going to get these podcasts out, all right? Yeah. So we wanted to drop this episode today.
Yes.
A lot has been going on in social media and stuff like that. We probably will do another podcast, just based off all the social media stuff. We never got a chance to talk about the When They See Us documentary on Netflix. We never got a chance to talk about all the stuff that is going on. What country is that everyone's turning their photos blue? It's like a genocide going on right now.
Really?
Yeah, it's like some crazy
genocide.
genocide.
So I've been off of Instagram for a little.
Yeah.
Because for some reason that's where I get all my news.
Wow.
Instagram and Facebook. I hate to admit this.
Yeah.
But in Sudan.
Maybe Sudan.
But
check it out.
I've been reading. I've been trying to just read.
Yeah.
I've been reading, and life is happening right now.
Yeah. It's a lot of stuff going on.
So many things are going on in my personal life with my dad. Still in the hospital, still fighting for his life, and it's just life is real right now.
Yeah, I think that's something everybody can say. Life is real. That's one thing. No matter what is going on, life continues to happen. Yep. And so we all go through stuff. But
I saw a meme the other day. It was saying if you're not currently in a trial, you're either coming out of a trial or going into a trial. And I feel like I'm just in the midst of one right now with my dad and his health and him just fighting for his life and trying to get him the care that he needs.
Right. Yeah,
that's been a struggle for me. So I have been missing out on every kind of news right now.
Yeah.
So.
And I apologize. I couldn't get the name of the country that all this stuff was happening. I had it right there at the top of my mind, and then it totally slipped. So I'm trying to look it up on the phone. But there's a lot of stuff we want to talk about. I even saw O.J. Simpson's back on social media, and that is scary. And his video.
Wasn't O.J. in jail?
He got out like 2 years ago.
Oh.
But his posts are scary, and he has the camera super close and everything. It's just weird. But
O.J. needs to take several seats.
Yeah. Oh my God. He need to take seats, throw them at himself, all that stuff, man. O.J. needs to sit down somewhere. Yes. But So we have a great topic for you guys today. We have been. This is a topic that's near and dear to our hearts. It's something that we're now working through ourselves. Some things we have to, some things that we've gone through as children, and some things that we still go through as adults that have affected us. And these are the things that we try not to let affect our children. And so today's topic is all about breaking generational curses. Mm-hmm. Now, we've all gone through things. We've all had family members that have done things. You talk about alcoholism and physical abuse and sexual abuse, mental abuse. There's been a bunch of things that our families have gone through that generation after generation after generation, these same problems seem to arise. Mm-hmm. And my wife and I, we kind of took it upon ourselves to say that these things will not affect our generation, our children. And so we're very proactive in that stuff. We don't have all the answers. We say this all the time on the podcast. We are not perfect. We're not a perfect marriage. We're not a perfect people. But we always say in our imperfections, we can help. We try and strive for greatness in our imperfections. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, babe, what are some of the generational curses that you decided are going to stop with you?
I think some of the generational curses, we have so much. We'll be talking about this forever and ever.
Yeah.
But I think the ones that are most important to me is stopping verbal abuse. Verbal abuse was really big in my family when I was growing up. Just speaking a lot of negativity. You're never going to be anything. You're never going to amount to anything. Just a lot of verbal abuse. You look like this, or verbal abuse, physical abuse, infidelity.
Yeah.
What else can I think of? I think those are the three top things for me that I want to focus on for this show. I mean, I have tons of them because no family is perfect, right?
No family's perfect.
But I think verbal abuse, physical abuse, infidelity. I know when I was praying for a husband, when I was praying for you, I didn't think I would find you in high school.
Right.
But when I was praying for my husband, I was just asking God. I was telling him, like, God, look, like, you know what I've seen growing up. You know the things that I've been through. And I really want and need a husband that is not going to abuse me verbally, not going to abuse me physically.
Right.
And is not going to cheat on me.
Right.
Yes. So.
Those are some of the things we're trying to, those are things that go back from generations, right? Like our grandparents have been through these things, and our parents, we've seen our parents go through this stuff, and some of my stuff is, alcoholism and physical abuse, and I witnessed a bunch of physical abuse, and thank God I've never been physically abused myself, but I've witnessed, the physical abuse of my mom, and I've seen things, with my grandmother and stuff like that. I've just seen different things, you know what I mean? And so, when we got together, the one thing we decided to do was that we're gonna the buck stops with us. All the drama stops with us. Alcoholism, drug use, all that stuff. Our kids will never ever know what that stuff looks like, because that's not what we model as parents. You know what I mean? And so, and again, we're not saying we're perfect and we're like, we got it all figured out.
I just want to insert in there, like, some of the things we actually went through, some of the things, when we originally got married, like, you would say things to me, like, I remember we had this one argument. I hope this is okay to be this transparent.
Good.
So we had this argument, Aaron saying something to me and I don't like it, and I'm just like, slap right across the face. Like, a lot of things that we're really mindful of now and intentional. Like, this is we had to sit down and have this talk. Like, okay, you will not be slapping me in my face. Like, that's not gonna be happening. Like, we were just so used to, like, for me, I was so used to experiencing verbal and physical abuse. Like, it just came natural to me. Like, okay, you're talking to me in some way that I don't like, I'm just gonna hate you. Like, it wasn't even something like I thought about, like, okay, like it was just like 1, 2, 3, like, I don't like what you're saying to me, I'm just gonna slap you in the face. Like, it was just something so natural.
And if I wasn't in a place to kind of step back, then the things that I saw growing up, it could have been a trigger for that. And then next thing you know, I'm reacting with my fist, and next thing you know, we have a whole situation. And thank God for grace. Thank God for patience and peace.
Yeah.
Thank God it only happened one time too, because it only took one conversation.
Yeah, just understanding and knowing, like, you know what, we don't wanna. I'm being serious, Bill, because this is a serious subject. We don't want to replicate these things. Like,
facts,
I pray about these things because it comes so easily and it's so natural because you've seen it growing up. It's like almost part of, I feel like
it's a reaction.
Part of my being, right? Like,
right.
this is the way I process things. Like, if you don't like the way someone's talking to you, you just slap them, hit them, and you guys fight. Like, you fight verbally, you fight physically. Like, you just fight it out if you don't like something that's going on. So it's just like, almost become like my coping mechanism. Like, okay, I don't like the way you're talking to me, so I'm just gonna hit you or punch you right now in the face. Like, and I find myself saying that sometimes too. Like, keep it up, I'm gonna punch you right in the neck. Like,
not to me, she don't say that, but
I think I said that to my kid today. Like, keep doing it, I'm gonna punch you right in the neck. I mean, I don't really do it.
I would say,
my son was like holding his neck. He's like, Mom,
mind you, I don't think my wife punch anybody in her life.
No, so I wouldn't, but
which is the funniest thing.
I don't know. It's like, it's crazy because I have to work so hard at this. So I'm still working hard at this because it's just like, I don't know.
Have you ever punched anybody?
I don't think I've punched anybody before, no. I've slapped.
You make a lot of threats and never hit nobody.
I know. Don't tell my kids that. Because now that my kids are getting, for some reason, I'm like, all my kids are starting to go past me. I'm 5'6", and even my 9-year-old is like,
she's almost got your neck.
Almost here to my neck, and I'm just like, I don't know, maybe my little maybe my physical threats is like
Yeah, they're like, Mom, you
making
can't
making
fight
me
out of a wet paper bag.
making me kind of keep my power or my parental authority. I don't know,
That's
but
'cause you
yes,
give-
I don't punch anyone. I'm not violent, but it's
I don't
just
think
like
she's ever punched anybody.
I
Me, on the
never
other hand,
punched anyone.
I'll punch plenty of people.
And if anything, I think too, like I'm not really like a really. I mean, would you say I'm like verbally abusive? Like I don't even think I even have that in me.
No,
If anything, I let people verbally abuse me.
yeah, especially
Gosh,
at
because
work.
I'm so nice. I went to therapy for like, I don't know, was that years or months? I had to work through a lot of childhood issue things in therapy. I love therapy. I recommend it to everybody.
Yeah.
But one of the things the therapist would always say is like, why do you care so much about other people's feelings? Like, why do you let people hurt you just so that they don't feel bad? Like, I would let people say things to me or do things to me just so they would feel okay about themselves. In the meantime, while it's hurting me.
Right.
Like, that was, we had to do a lot of sessions on, like, why is it that I let people speak to me? And I think it goes back to, like, you know, my childhood.
Stuff. Yeah.
Childhood and being, you know, verbally and physically.
But you know, but the crazy thing is, I'm like the total opposite. Like you let people say what they feel, so that they can get stuff off their chest, and I'm just like, and I'm the total opposite because I can be very confrontational.
Like you don't even give them a chance to.
Yeah, I don't give them a chance. Yeah, like, I'm just I can go 0 to 100 real quick. Like and that's bad, but I can go 0 to 100 quick. And especially and I say this before Christ, I didn't give anybody a chance. Even now, I'm still bad. I'm still bad.
Bro,
but
like
no,
right
but before
now.
Christ, it was worse. Because before Christ, like we were really, like I before people said something, I just start swinging. Like I would really start swinging. Like it, and so that was just bad on my part. But and again, that's the crazy part is that's a generational curse thing. Like my family is, it's not many punks in my family, so you got so if you say something, you got to make sure you ready to back it up. And so I took that as a badge of honor, and sometimes seeing things happen in my family, I took that with me, and so I'm like, look, I'm a Pearson man. Like we don't do stuff like that. Like you can talk all you want to, but when it's action, let's do some action, and that's bad. You know what I mean? It's bad to be that type of have that energy, because that energy is always come back to you, which is probably why I got in a lot of trouble when I was younger too. But anyway, generational curses, those are the things that we kind of we decided we wanted to attack when it came to our children, right? And we talked about drug abuse, alcohol abuse, physical abuse, sexual abuse, mental abuse. Those are things that we really wanted to make sure that our kids didn't have to be a part of any of that stuff. And the one thing that I felt like I wanted to break first was the absentee father generational curse. Not saying that my father is a horrible person or anything like that. Like I love my father to death. But my parents, they had a very rocky relationship. And they separated, I think, when I was maybe 4 or 5 years old, maybe. I mean, it's been that long. But I can still remember details in my head of a little kid seeing stuff. Mm-hmm. Like, you know what I mean? And I'm 36 years old now, and I still see a 4 and 5 year old having to deal with seeing physical abuse, or having to deal with verbal abuse and stuff like that, and seeing how each parent reacts. I've seen that stuff, and it's just not something I wanted to bring into a marriage, and when I say absentee father, my parents were separated, and so, but for the longest time as a boy, the only boy, I was yearning for my father every single day. Like I would cry because I couldn't see my dad. I was, so I know how that feels. So when I told myself, whenever I have kids, I want to make sure that I'm always there for my son, or my daughter, or whoever. I want to always make sure that they know that daddy is here, and I felt like that's the one hurdle I had to get over, is that I would never, ever, ever have my kids say that they don't know who their dad is or where their dad is, or, I can't.
How much your dad loves them.
That's the most important thing. How much the dad loves them.
My biological dad wasn't there a lot of times, and I always wondered ever since I was a little girl, like, does he love me? Does he think about me? Like, he's not here. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, does he think about me? From like, I was just wondering, like, does he think about me? Because I don't see him. He doesn't call me.
Right.
So yeah. So I think even with the breaking the generational curse, I feel like it's tough. I mean, it's
Yeah.
easy to say
Yeah.
like we're intentional and we're working on this stuff, but it's tough because not only before you even get to your legacy and your kids and breaking it, like it gotta break with you first. Like you
Yeah.
had to do so much introspection, so much working on yourself, like breaking it with yourself before you could even like like
Yeah.
it can even be stopped from being passed down in the
So
in
so
the
what so
following
what is that?
generation.
So okay. So what does that look like? Like I know for me, like I can remember seeing my dad like knock out drunk. I can remember that. So for me, I was never a big drinker. Like I just knew like this is what people get like when they're drunk. I don't like that. And so for me, it was like I don't want to drink.
Yeah.
And once I started getting older and I started getting a taste of alcohol and stuff like that, I really didn't even have the taste for it. Because I can remember being a little kid, and I would say, I'll never drink alcohol.
Because
Like I
you
would say this to myself.
associated so many
Right,
bad things
with that.
it.
Yeah.
So,
So,
yeah.
so that was one thing. So what does that look like to
So
you?
I think that was good too. I want to add to the alcoholism because I
Yeah.
know a lot of people struggle with that, and it was something in my family too that, one of the generational curses that I wanted to break too. But in college, I mean, we were together since high school. So in college, Aaron would like just be like, no, like we're not drinking, we're not having this glass of whatever. Like I used
Yeah.
to frustrate me so bad. Like what the heck, like. We're in college, like this is our time to get drunk and to have fun. Like Aaron would be no, like even to this day, I'm like, oh babe, but maybe we could try. No, like get you some water,
Whoever
a
wine
soda,
here,
or
whoever
something.
wine here or there or something like
Yeah,
that.
but not even that because we went on vacation years ago with our friends. You remember? And I had that little drink, and you got so mad at me.
I can't remember.
You got so mad
We're
at
on a
me
cruise?
for having that drink. No, in Florida. When we went on
Yes,
our big
yes, I remember. Yeah.
yeah, so we went out and everyone was getting drinks and I'm like, yeah, like, we're on vacation. Like, let's get a drink. We don't have the kids. And you got so mad at me. You're like, if you take one more sip. I was at the table and I think I started getting tipsy because I started acting all crazy. My head was like.
Yo, I hate drunk people. I hate with a passion. I
You're
can't stand
like-
drunk people. I
You
can't.
pulled
I
me
can't do
over
it.
and you were like, if you have one more sip of that drink and if you embarrass me in front of our friends, I'm going to be so mad.
Yo, I hate.
You
With a
were
passion.
so
I will get up and
mad,
leave. I will leave a room.
I don't know what they put in that drink, but like I just took like 2 sips and my head.
Cause you're a
was
lightweight.
like,
That's why. Like
whoa.
two sips and you gone. That's why I say you can't have no alcohol. It's 2
I
sips
can't.
and you're gone.
It's not good for me to drink. So not only did you protect me from that, but it's not good for me to drink because I can't handle. I would have been a hot mess.
But yeah, so you talked about this stuff with aside from the alcohol and stuff like that, absentee
Yes.
father. So how did
So-
you
Yeah,
Okay.
the absentee father thing definitely also is another one. I didn't put that in my top 3.
Mm-hmm.
But the absentee father, because, my biological dad, he moved to America when I was very young.
Mhm.
So I always wanted to know, like, not only was I obsessed with America, I'm from Guyana, if you don't know. I was born and raised in Guyana until the age of 10. So I was just obsessed with, like just wanting to know, like, what was he like how come he's not in my life, how come he's not calling. So that's why I'm just the parent I am today. Like I don't have
Yeah.
it all figured out, but like I invest and spend so much time with my kids. Like
Yeah.
everything is my kids now. I pour so much into them. Like just with this summer now, like they're home for the summer and it's just like, all right, like you like doing this, you like doing that. I'm like on my days off, instead of just relaxing. Well, sometimes I relax and have me time, but a lot of it is spent into investing to my kids. Like Sydney, needs to catch up on her reading. Like we have date days every day that I'm off. I'm like, all right, let's go to Starbucks. You get a drink, I get a drink. Let's sit down, let's read. Like Jordan is starting to become, well, I don't know too much about sports, but, we're reading
Yeah.
a book. Jordan's reading, I read a book and a book on a biography on a guy from Africa that created a windmill. So I read it, he's reading it now, then we're going to watch the movie together on Netflix. Like, I'm so intentional about being
Yeah.
a present, active parent. Like,
Yeah, no, I think that's big too. You said a big thing, which was being present and active. Like, because we can sometimes be in the house, and I'm very guilty of this. Sometimes I'll get in my own moods, or I just got off work and I just don't feel like being bothered. Like my wife, she could work 13 straight hours, drive an hour home from work, and as soon as she hits the door, she is mommy and she hits the ground running. And I'm like me, I'm like, look, I need time. Like, and I love that about my wife. I love that she's very, very hands on, and that's one thing that we said, because we both come from some jacked up homes. Not saying we don't love our families, we do.
Yeah,
So
we
don't
love
read too
we
much
love
into it,
our
family. If y'all
parents.
listening, don't read too much into it. Yeah,
Yeah, we love our
parents.
parents. Like now it's a struggle for me now with my
Yeah.
dad being in the hospital. Like
Right.
my biggest struggle is, how can I be this present, loving daughter that's helping to provide the care for him when he was such an absent father. Like he wasn't. He was my biological father, but as far as like provision, as far as love, as far as emotional support, like I've never gotten that. And now that he needs all of that, it's so hard for me. Like I'm praying and I'm working on my heart to be like, God, like, the Bible says to honor your mother and your father,
Yeah.
like no matter what. So I'm like, here I am struggling, like, like you've never been here for me, you never did this, you never did that. Like, one of the social workers said, like, like you need to advocate for your father because they want to do this, they want to do that. And in my mind, she's talking to me and she's telling me, like, like giving me kind of the update, like, hey, like this is all the stuff they're trying to do, like, like
Right.
say something for him, like advocate for him. And I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, lady, where I was just so mad. I was like, where was he advocating for me when I needed him my
Right.
whole childhood? You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
so the fact that we have to turn around and take care of them when they haven't been there for us. I mean, it's just like an act of love, an act of forgiveness. It's just, ooh.
It's an act of grace
Jesus,
as well.
grace. Yes,
Because
grace is
God,
the word.
God
Yes.
gives us grace when we don't deserve it, and so
Yeah.
and it is such a weird dynamic now that because your dad was such a polarizing figure in your life, being in and out of it. You know what I mean? And so, and when he was in it, it wasn't always great. It was, for the most part, it was actually kind of the opposite.
I know.
And so you think about that stuff, and now the tables have turned, and now you have to actually you have to step up for him. And it's like, how do I do that when I have such not resentment toward him, but I have so much.
Like, it's just so fresh in my mind. Like,
Yeah.
I thought I worked through forgiveness, and I did. And he said sorry, for not being the dad that I needed.
Right.
And we worked through all of that. But just the fact now that I have to show up and be there for him when I know so
Every
many
day
times
when
when I called and he said he was coming and here I'm gonna be here and then just never showed up, no
Right.
follow-up call, no nothing. Like, it's just that junk just come right back to the surface of your memory. Like, oh
Yeah.
man, now I gotta go sit here in this hospital and be here with you, but you never showed up for me. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah. Oh,
Like,
yeah. Yeah. And that's a
yeah.
tough thing to do. And when you hear all this stuff, obviously you guys are getting part of the story. You haven't heard the whole story, but when you get some of this stuff, that's a lot of baggage you could take into being a parent. It's just a
Yeah.
lot of baggage. Like, we've given you guys a couple of different stories of just how our upbringing, happened, and we decided, like, we cannot put our kids through that stuff that we went through, because there was so many times I would, my mom would literally have to call my dad because I would have these recurring dreams that he was dying, and as a little kid I would cry myself to sleep because my dad wasn't there, so she would have to call him 2-3 o'clock in the morning just to be like, what are you talking about, boy? Like, I'm alive. Like, what are you talking about? I was like, no, I'm having this dream, and he would literally have to just talk to me on the phone for like 2 minutes and I'd go back to sleep. It's hot here, though.
Yeah.
They were trying to make too much noise so y'all don't get too much feedback on the microphones.
Yeah.
But yeah, so those are just some things that we
Yeah.
just decided, like, it's going to end with us. We're going to be very active parents. We're going to make sure we're very
Present.
intentional. Yeah, present. We're going to make sure our kids feel loved.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, so I say, like, my life goal, and my friend reminded me the other day, because he was like, I just want to encourage you and let you know, like, you're doing a good job, you're raising your kids so well, and, I'm watching, and, I'm learning for you guys, even though I'm older, like, like, I love the way you guys parent your kids. And he was like, I know you always say, like, every time I talk to you, or every time we have this conversation on parenting, like, he reminded me, like, I didn't even realize that I said it this much, like, he always said, like, one of your biggest goals is in life, like, is to be, the best parent to your kids. And I
Right.
always say, like, I watched this documentary, and this guy, everybody was saying like, oh, I had daddy issues, mommy issues, and there was only one guy out of all the people they interviewed that was just like, no, my mom and dad were great. Like, they loved me, they provided for me. They weren't the best parents, but emotionally, you know, like relationship wise, like everything, like they were there for me, and that's just
the
no
story you
degrees,
want.
no like nothing else. Like if I can do that, if my kids are grown, and then just to be emotionally healthy, and just say like, you know, like I had a great mom, I had a great dad, like then my life was like, that was my purpose.
That's the purpose in life. And our other thing was we want to make kids that are going to be impacts in the world. And when I say impacts in the world, I'm not talking about they don't have to be the president of the United States. They don't have to run Fortune 500 companies. They just need to be people that are speaking light into the world, because the world is already crazy as it is. So when we send our kids
these days,
especially these days, when we send our kids to school, you know, my wife always says, "You're God's masterpiece." I tell my son all the time, "Be a leader. Be a leader. Don't be the people follow. Don't be the person following people. Be a leader. You got to be light into a dark place. You have to be. This is who we are. This is what our last name stands for. You know, and this is what God has made us to be. And so we send our kids out into the world every day with that knowledge of they are better than they think they are. They're achievers. They're overachievers. They're conquerors. We tell these things to our kids because we want our kids to not only feel that way, but we want them to be reaffirmed by hearing it too. We let them know you're kings, you're queens, you're beautiful, you're this and that, because so often we don't get to tell our kids that stuff because we're so worried about the things that are happening around us, bills, you know, life in general. We really don't get time to speak life into our children. And so our parents have went through that stuff where we really did not get a chance to, our parents really didn't get a chance to speak life into us like we wanted to. And luckily, praise God, we found each other at the age that we did because we were actually able to speak life into each other, because I think we met at a time where we both needed each other the worst.
Yeah,
like you were broken, I was broken, and together we just needed love, man. And then when I say we fell in love so quickly, and we've been in love ever since. It's been like that because we both needed somebody that we could talk to. We needed somebody that would build us up, somebody that when we failed that would have our back. We just needed each other.
We did that for each other.
We did that for each other. Praise God, we did that for each other because we came from some broken dynamics, man.
Yeah, and in my parents' defense, like I don't want to make them seem like they're the worst.
No,
parents.
It's everybody's parents. Everybody's parents going through something.
To this. Hey, mama, I love you.
Hey, mama.
So no, my parents had me very young, and I think sometimes maybe our parents did do the best that they can do, the best that they thought that they were doing, and I think my parents were so busy. They had me so young. They were so busy. They were still teenagers. Like, they were still figuring out themselves. Like, I felt like they couldn't be the best parents to me because they were still trying to figure themselves out for themselves, you know?
What that looks like.
They were still trying to, break generational curses with themselves, I guess, and all the internal struggles and everything. So I think that, we just have to be intentional. We just have to be very intentional because it's so easy for me to just go right back to what I know. So I had to make sure that I'm praying, and I'm actively praying about this stuff. Like every time I pray, I'm like praying about all the things that I need to, the generational curses that I need to break.
Yeah, and if I can give anybody some advice, I would say before you get to a point where you are married and where you are a parent, I would say start working on your generational curses now. If you know things run wild in your family, if you know alcohol abuse runs wild in your family, you need to curb yourself now. Because it's not saying that you can't have a good time and stuff like that. I ain't trying to be the law. I'm just letting you know, if you know these things run rampant in your family, do not give light to them. Don't get energy to them right now. Just don't. That's just me. Be proactive, because I'd rather be proactive than be reactive when now you're like, whoa, I can't go a week without having a drink, or or smoking, or whatever it is. You need to start attacking those generational curses now. And my advice for parents that haven't started attacking generational curses because we're so wrapped up in life, I would say again, start with yourself right away. And I ran across this quote. I see it right here. It says, "Some of you are breaking generational curses and you don't even know it. That's why your attack has been so hard." And it says that the devil, when the devil sees that you're, I'm gonna get spiritual because we Christians, that's how we roll. When the devil sees that you're trying to progress and move forward in your life, trying to be positive, you're going to get tested. You're going to get tested in the exact way that you're trying to be better. You're going to get tested, and you have to decide what you're going to do. And you're breaking these generational curses. That's why you're getting tested so much. And it happens. I see it all the time in single mothers. I see it all the time. I see it all the time.
I see it all the time in my own life.
Yeah,
I would literally have a prayer session. So I have this hour commute in the morning, and the other morning I'm like, you know what? I'm going to ride to work with, in silence, which I usually don't do because I'm like, I think it makes my commute feel even longer in my head. So I'm always listening to something, music, podcast, whatever. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to write down silence, talk to God. If I hear from him, if he talks back to me, I don't have any distractions. Right. I'm listening. And just all the things that I prayed about, all these things showed up at work. Everything, I was just I just had my head back. I was like, Lord, oh my God, what are you trying to teach me? I just prayed for all this stuff not to happen.
And then it happens.
It's so crazy. Yeah, it's so crazy.
So you will get tested. And this is the time where you have to remain close to God, seek his face every day, pray about these things. If you know you're going through stuff in your family, you know you're going through stuff with your children, you know you're going through stuff, just personally, now is the time to seek God's face. Now is the time to really be intentional on what you say, how you act, and how you react to things. Because those things could cause generational curses to occur and to continue. And the last thing we want to do is hand down a jacked up legacy to our children. That's the last thing we want to do.
Yeah, so, they said your kids should pick up. I love this. We always say this. Your kids should pick up, where you left off. Not have to start fresh again. I think for us, that's what we had to do. We literally had to start fresh. We had to wipe our slate clean and say, we're going to do this different. We're going to think different. We're going to believe different. We're going to, worship God with our whole hearts. We're going to be dedicated Christians. We're going to have this relationship with God. We had to just start
financial
fresh.
Wellness, everything.
Yeah, we're teaching our kids now. We're gonna have good credit. We're gonna be homeowners.
We're teaching our kids now.
Yeah,
and again, we don't have it all figured out because we still go through things where we're still learning stuff.
Yeah,
but we're saying that
we're teaching ourselves practically.
Right. We went to a class, a debt-free class, just to make sure we had some tie up some loose ends in our end. And we took our son with us. Our 12-year-old was learning about what it means to have good credit. Our 12-year-old was learning about what it means.
Everybody's oh my gosh, I can't believe you're bringing your 12-year-old. All of our kids, we had our kids in the kids session and our 12-year-old in the adult session. And we had some other people in the class. They're look, we have a 16 and 17-year-old. We didn't want to force them to come. And I'm look, we're learning this stuff. He's learning this. If he could learn this stuff at 12 and apply it to his life, everyone in the class kept telling him, look, you could be a millionaire. If you apply these principles now, it's going to be from...
And that sets up his generation. That sets up his kids knowing about financial literacy and all the things that he's going to be accomplishing in life. Now he has a chance to move forward. I say it all the time. My kids will never have to grow up the way I grew up. They not have to grow up in the hood. They don't have to grow up and have to fight and all this other stuff. My kids, I'm glad to say I'm raising some suburban kids. I'm glad to say that.
Even though you get on our son for being a little...
He got to toughen up a little bit now.
He's a little mellow. He's me. But you're when I was this, I was doing... I'm
well, again, that's stuff I'm working on because I will...
You. Yeah. I had to fight on my way. He don't
very
have
aggressive.
To do that. He don't have that kind of life.
I'm very aggressive.
You get off the bus and walk home.
And walk right home, yeah. And so I was, fighting my way through, trying to get home. And so, so those are things that we're intentionally trying to change. And I know you guys have generational curses that you're still trying to get. You may be struggling with alcoholism. You may be struggling with drug abuse. You may be struggling with
mental health.
Mental health. Wow, mental health is huge. I
think both of our families
deal with that stuff.
Struggle with this.
Yeah.
And are still struggling with this.
Still to this day, yeah. And I think it's just something that the conversations need to be had because the last thing you want to do is let this affect the next generation, which is your children, which is your legacy, And so the last thing the one thing I didn't want my kids to say was, my daddy never did X, Y, Z, or my daddy never showed me how to do X, Y, and Z, or All my dad was alcoholic. I know we keep harping on alcoholism and drug and all that stuff, but it's
think
bigger things
I
than
just
that.
think
You know
because
what I mean?
it's something that
It's so visible. Yeah,
it's
so
one of
yeah.
our generational curses. I mean, it's still in our face now. Like we have our parents and our family members that are struggling with this right now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
but any generational curses, that they're going through, even if you think even if you don't, I feel like you had to just work on you first. Like if you start thinking about the kids and doing it for the kids and doing it for your wife, I feel like you have to do it for your own.
We said that earlier,
for yourself first.
Start with you.
Start with you. Start with you, because if you see the changes in you, your kids are gonna see the changes in you.
Definitely.
Your spouses or your partner is gonna see the changes.
And the people that are not supposed to be around you will see the difference in you. Yeah. And that's how you start to weed out the people that you know that are not supposed to be in your life. You can start to weed those people out, because when you start changing, people are gonna say, "Oh well, he changed. That person changed up. He's not the same person."
Yeah.
You're daggone right, I ain't the same person.
You start getting new friends.
You start getting new friends with like-minded ideals, and the next thing you know, you're all flourishing, and you got to worry about all the other stupid stuff. So,
not stupid stuff,
not stupid
right?
stuff,
People
but
are struggling. These are this is our lives. Like people are struggling with this stuff. Like I'm grateful for God for even giving me the grace to even the understanding to even be like, look, this is something that has to get broken, because some people.
Right. Yeah, some people just.
What happened? I'm not talking loud enough.
No, you're good. You're good. We just stopped recording on the thing, but I'll take the audio from here. Don't worry about it.
Okay. Keep talking.
Yeah, keep talking. So, since we're not recording here, we'll look at you guys. And so this is just some of the stuff that we decided that we wanted to just be better at. We're not recording here, baby. See, it stopped. We stopped at minute 19 here. We're at minute 35, baby. So yeah, don't worry about it. I can strip the audio. Don't worry about it. So, yeah, don't worry about it. I'm good. So we'll talk to you guys. Yes. So the thing is, we got to make sure that we continue to be proactive with everything that we do.
Yes. And being proactive.
Yeah.
Praying.
And talking about things too.
Talking, what really helped me too, besides therapy, because I'm just trying to get everybody to go to therapy. Therapy has done wonders for me. But reading. I mean, if you're not a reader, maybe audio listener, because I know you're not a reader. You listen.
I like to
listen to books. Listen to books on the subjects. I think that's really helped and grew my mind. Like, I'm thinking better, parenting better. I've read like a million parenting books because I was so dedicated to being a better parent.
Yeah.
So reading books. What else? Any other tips?
Seek out wise counsel. I'll say that. If you have a pastor or an elder at a church, or just somebody that you admire,
that's a trusted friend. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. Somebody you admire.
Give me great advice, and they're my age or some younger.
Like, I mean, somebody you admire that you know is doing things that is wise and doing things the right way. That's the way. That's the person you want to be able to communicate with. But I would say, seek wise counsel and just be mindful of your circle. Be mindful of people that you keep around you, because those people could either breathe life into you or they could bring you down every single time. So I would just say make sure you be mindful of your circle. And
yeah. And I think that's it. I think everybody is just. I know I am trying my best to work hard to live the best life that I can live.
Yeah.
So I can pass on something even better to my kids and my legacy. That's like one of my biggest goals in life.
Yeah.
So that's it. That's all I have to say about this.
All right, y'all. We're going to definitely keep you guys in prayer. If there's anything you want to discuss, put them in the comments below. Yeah. Make sure you subscribe. If you have any more questions or comments about generational curses, some of the stuff you may be going through, if you need some wise counsel, again, we don't know everything, but we've been through a lot of stuff. And we would love to converse with you guys. So any comments, leave them down below, guys. Hope you guys are breaking your generational curses. I hope the things that have plagued your family in the past, you're now working on those things to make sure your family doesn't have to go through them. And I think if you would take away anything from this podcast, I would just say be very intentional. Mm-hmm. Be intentional on your actions, your words, and your thoughts too. Mm-hmm. Be very intentional, because what you say to yourself, what you physically do, and what you think is can really change dynamics, positively or negatively.
Yeah.
So just be mindful of that stuff. Again, appreciate y'all, Spotify family, SoundCloud, YouTube, Instagram family, what's going on? Facebook, all that good stuff, y'all. We appreciate y'all. We thank y'all so much for tuning in to AP and Toya podcast. We'll have another one next week for you guys, I promise. We're going on vacation soon.
July, that's a long time.
Yeah, soon, but
like
we're on vacation soon. But we'll have some more stuff for you guys. We appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for listening. Talk to us in the comments.
Comment.
Yeah, we love talking to y'all.
Even if it's just an emoji or something.
Even just saying hi. Say hi to your people. Yeah, man. So, all right, y'all. We'll talk to y'all soon. Thank y'all. Make sure y'all subscribe. Put on those post notifications. Check our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. What else we on? SoundCloud. Leave comments. Let us know how you like the podcast. And, that's it, man. Oh, we hope you guys love the self-love challenge. We didn't get a chance to talk about that too much, but we just recently had a self-love challenge. If you didn't join us for the self-love challenge, it's on our Instagram all 7 days, and it's on our YouTube. So we have all the videos. Everything's on our YouTube. Check it out. And, anything else, babe?
No, that's it. Be intentional and also be consistent. I think consistency is a great thing. You don't want to come to the realization that this is a generational curse, and then you're like, okay, yeah, we're gonna do this. I'm gonna be intentional about this, and then you're not consistently, making the changes needed to see the long-term benefits of it.
She's so smart, y'all. Y'all have a good night, man. We appreciate you guys. Love you guys. Team AP Toya. Yeah.